All right. So I was just checking the volume there. It looks like it's okay there. Um, I'm not sure what happened with the microphone last time. I'll be monitoring it. It sounds a little rough, a little garbled, but I changed the mic out. So Judge McConnell sounds like a liberal. He is a liberal. What he says isn't entirely wrong. We should always consider each person where they are in life, but then there has to be, as you know, we all realize, common sense in that analysis. Right? There has to be a balance. We have to know that we're not bringing immigrants into a unorganized, unmanageable mess. Right? If we feel like we want to help undocumented immigrants, we have a program. It's an amnesty program. Once upon a time, it kind of worked. Now it doesn't. So we have to get that program back to the point where it works. Although he's not wrong, I don't want people to think that you don't consider people um, worthy of analysis upon the truth of their given situation. Right. And I think that's where some Republicans go, and that's where some members of the public just kind of write off Republicans because of that loss of consideration and empathy. Kind of, I got mine, and that's all that matters mentality. Yeah, there's a lot of interference tonight. So I almost didn't get the Shabbat Shalom candles going, but it definitely came around and worked. I don't know. There's something wrong with this Govee humidifier I buy. There's a valve in it. I think the heat just distorts it and it doesn't seal after a while. I already replaced it once. I think maybe she hinted something that they're not going to get back to me, but she told me to go through the portal, and she said if they don't get back to you, contact us and we'll work it out. I think if you use warm mist over a period of time, the plastic distorts on the. There's a valve that I think seals the water moving from the storage tank into the base where it humidifies. And at a certain point, that fails and just keeps leaking into the base, and then it overflows from the sides. Yeah, there's some tough criticism for the administration. Coming out recently. I went to sleep early. I went to sleep like nine something like that. I just kind of went boom, fell asleep. I'll get back to sleep here in a bit. I had to work out my humidifier issue because it's dead in the water. I don't know where they are with Vladimir Putin, where it kind of doesn't make sense, but makes sense. Well, again, you have to if for us to get to peace, we have to deal with, or for everybody to get to peace, we have to deal with Vladimir Putin, and we have to make it so it's agreeable to him. I'm thinking at this point that Ukraine is no longer moving with the administration in the direction that was originally articulated. So I believe that there has been additional support from other nations articulated, and those other nations would be European nations. I don't know if Trump is a pushover on tariffs, but again, he's using it as a tool of negotiation, which works better for all of this. We got stalkers online right now hiding behind toolkits or cloaking mechanisms. Right. So somebody sees them. How a traffic stop in Vermont cracked open a cult-like group linked to deaths in multiple states. Oh, it's tied to the Border Patrol shooting. In the middle of it all is Ziz, who appears to be the leader of the strange group who call themselves Zizians. She has been seen near multiple crime scenes and has connections to various suspects. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess they're going to be arresting some people. So everybody needs to have a unified. Right, a unified message. And the message needs to look like it's coming from an all points bulletin versus individuals. And, there's some strategy to providing different messaging and then polling that messaging. But I think we're at the point where messaging can be analyzed or the reception of a message can be analyzed and predicted prior to um, message being even spoken. So what happens is when you had supporters that support you, like in the election, and then they, in a relatively short period of time, like we have, they jump ship and they're online at articulating it, they can actually be worse than people that never supported you, right? Because they feel like they've been somehow manipulated. House Republican on Hegseth, Ukraine remarked there are consequences of rewarding the invader. And I think that's where Europe is. That's why they're increasing probably conversation about support and war. But I understand what Hegseth was saying, that we're not, he doesn't see it where anything else will actually develop and we'll still be in war. I think Ukraine articulated at one point that they were willing to cede territory, right? So I'm not sure, that may have manipulated the conversation from Russia to demand that territory. Right? Maybe initially what Ukraine was articulating was different than what Russia was receiving. So there may have been confusion there. So we'll see where this goes to. But again, uh, it needs to be agreeable to Russia, or Russia's not going to stop. Now, the idea of putting U.S. troops in harm's way, uh, I understand, not off the table completely, but the American public, I think, is against any prolonged operation, and it's just the idea of ending the war is what the U.S. people want. But again, if Europe and Zelensky say no, then we're back to square one, or maybe even worse. So they have plenty of support at this point, which is going to cause some friction in the negotiation process. I personally believe the offer from Russia is a starting point. And again, uh, Russia invested a large amount of uh, bodies and financing and diplomacy in the war, and they want a return. So we'll see where all of this goes. Stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do.